I'm Casey Coenetti. This is Chat and Dish. Today on the menu, I am going to show you how to use these gorgeous pork tenderloins and make pork Wellington. Individual pork Wellingtons, no less. I'm going to start the process by thinly slicing 2 onions. I'm going to grab a really super sharp knife. My favorites are self-sharpening Calphalon knives. Anyway, thinly slice them, and when you slice, make sure you keep your fingers down like this and hold the knife in your full hand. Super easy to do that way. All right, I've got my onions thinly sliced, and now I am just going to give my fresh oregano a rough chop. If you're going to use dried, obviously you don't have to chop it first. This is going to be about a tablespoon and a half of fresh oregano. I'm just going to add this to my onions and head over to the stove. I have a preheated dry frying pan, and I am just going to saute these onions and oregano for about 4 or 5 minutes over medium heat. Now that our onions have turned a little bit caramel colored, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of dry vermouth. Our vermouth is evaporated. That only takes about a minute. Now add a 1/4 cup of chicken stock or vegetable stock, your choice, and let this reduce by half. Our onions are nice and soft, translucent. Our sauce has reduced, so let's take these off and let them cool. I've got our 2 beautiful pork tenderloin pieces. They're about 1.5 inches thick, 2 inches thick, and I kind of patted them down a little bit so that they're about 1.5 inches thick. I want to sprinkle both sides with pepper and then with salt. I've got a preheated grill pan, and all I want to do is seal both sides of our pork tenderloins. This will keep them nice and juicy when they go in the oven. Let's check. Perfect. Slightly browned. Let's turn these babies over. Okay, let's check the other side. Oh, that's perfect. We don't want to cook these. We just want to brown and seal in the juices. We're going to need 4 tablespoons of butter, nice, hot, melted, and ready to go. I've got about 2.5 ounces of shiitake mushrooms. They're all cleaned. All I do to clean them is wipe them down with a damp paper towel. You never want to get your mushrooms wet. They just turn into sponges. I'm just giving these a real rough chop. We want nice big chunks. I've got a couple of ounces of baby bellas that I've already sliced. I'm just going to take the really big ones, cut them in half. We want these mushrooms to still look like mushrooms for our sauce. 2 tablespoons of minced shallots go into our melted butter. Now our mushrooms. Traditionally, you're going to use garlic to do your mushrooms when you're sauteing them, but you know what? Since this is a party meal, and I always think of Valentine's Day as a time that you don't really want to have garlic, shallots will add that pop of flavor that is a perfect substitute for garlic. While our mushrooms are having a nice butter bath, let's go ahead and prepare our Wellingtons. I've got 1/4 of a puff pastry sheet. To the middle of that, I am adding a nice big spoonful of our sauteed onions. On top of that, I am going to place 1 of our browned pork tenderloins. Now, we're going to make a little package out of this, so what I want to do is just seal up our edges. Got a little Christmas package, just a little bit of water will do it. Just on my finger going around. All right, so we're going to do it almost like a diaper. We're going to fold up 1 corner. Now we're going to bring the other corner up and overlap just a little tiny bit. The same with this one. We're going to overlap these, overlap this one. We're going to seal up these edges. That's what the water's for. It helps it stick together. And we're going to turn this over. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Now, one more little thing that we have to do before our pork Wellington is actually finished. I'm going to show you how to make a little decoration for the top. I'm just going to take a little circle. I just took a little circle out of it. I'm going to move this out of the way real quick. I'm going to take my knife, and out of this circle, I'm going to cut a triangle off the bottom. So just 2 little edges come off the bottom. So now we have a triangle like this. Okay, now with the knife, I'm going to take another little triangle right out of the top of it, and we have the basis of a lovely little heart. So I'm just going to take my fingers and mold this. It's really easy, just push it down until you have a beautiful little heart shape, because we're going to use that to top our Wellingtons when we get them on our baking dish. Before we put our lovely little Wellingtons into the oven, we want to give them a little bit of a brush with egg yolk and about a tablespoon of water. I'm just mixing them up now. That should do it. I've got a pastry brush and I'm just going to brush the tops of each one, tops and sides actually, with our egg yolk, or it's actually an egg yolk wash because it has a little bit of water in it. Then on top of it, we're going to put one of our lovely little hearts, and we're going to give the heart an egg wash. The egg wash will help the heart stay on top of the Wellington, and this egg wash is going to make it be all nice and golden brown and beautiful when it comes out of the oven. You need a preheated 400-degree oven, and these little babies are going to bake inside of it for 20 to 25 minutes, or if you're going to use an instant read thermometer, it should say 145 at least. Well, our wellies are in the oven. Let's finish our mushroom sauce. We're going to add about a half a cup of chicken stock. Let that cook down a little bit, reduce by about a third. Okay, our sauce has reduced by about a third, and now I want to add some nice white wine. This is a Pinot Grigio. I'm going to put about a quarter cup in, and again, we're going to let this reduce by half. Our lovely little wellies are out of the oven. They're on our serving plates, and now what I'm going to do is just take our mushrooms and surround our little Wellingtons with a nice variety of our mushrooms. Oh, this smells so good. Oh, unbelievable. Okay, there we go. And now we have this lovely sauce that I'm going to dish up all around. So our little Wellingtons are going to be sitting in a lake of mushroom sauce made with wine and butter and chicken stock. Oh, now this is love for sure. Just a little sprinkle of fresh oregano on top of our lovely mushrooms, and these individual pork Wellingtons are ready to share with the love of your life. Until next time, I'm gonna miss you, and thanks for visiting. Ciao.